We're 4-2, not dead. We are here. Welcome back to the Coaches Huddle with a Food Meets Family. It's your boy, the Coach, and we are back live for another scheduled program of the Neutral Zone. I'm flanked to my right by my guy, ChunderBoi. What's good, baby? How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, feeling good, feeling better. Okay,
better.
I wouldn't say good. Better is the operative word. Yeah. Let's just get to it, man. What are your initial thoughts over the weekend? We're going to get into the topics, but just a little bit of banter, man. We just lost 30-19 to the Bucks, went down to 4-2. The Bucks moved on to 5-1. We lost to a quality team, but we got to keep it tall. They were injured as well. They had a lot of injuries as well. Almost matched us. The biggest story of the loss really wasn't even the loss itself, but it was the loss of Fred Warner, who went down in the first half with an ankle injury. I don't know the exact prognosis, but I'm hearing dislocation. I'm hearing break. I'm hearing dislocation and a break. It is what it is. What I do know is that Fred was on social media with a couple of posts and seemed to be in good spirits going in to get that surgery. So just give me your reactions, right? Because I covered Fred yesterday at length with Jesse, but you know, I feel like every fan that I speak to, like myself, it is a big deal. I mean, Fred Warner is a fixture here with this team, especially with this defense. And I just got to know, what were your reactions to the events that took place on Sunday?
Honestly, it was really disheartening to see our defense just kind of sort of fall apart after Fred left. I think that especially in the second half, I guess as a fan base, maybe we just never fully appreciated how important Fred Warner and his ability to communicate is for this defense. Everybody sees the playmaking. Everybody sees the peanut punch. Everybody sees him doing Herculean things on the field. And I think something that gets really overlooked is his leadership, his communication, his ability to recognize formations and the study that he puts in throughout the week and the effect that has on the guys around him. Because I think that was sorely missing in that defense, especially as the game got later and later.
Yeah, definitely. So look, let's get right into it, man. 4-2 feels weird. All right. And the reason why 4-2 feels weird, because let's keep it real. 4-1 felt weird. It seems like, is it me, or does it seem like every loss isn't necessarily being taken well? There's always legs to run with every event that happened during the game. Definitely, we know what type of team we were before we started the season. We understand the injuries and the guys that we were going to rely on to be able to undergird that and keep the foundation. Some of those guys have been lost. Nick Bosa has been gone. We lost Fred Warner, who we just talked about. But there's been a lot of chirping about what the trajectory of the team is going to be now, right? We're not just taking this as like, oh, it's the second loss of the season. We'll bounce back. We got Atlanta. We'll be able to outplay them. You know, it's not business as usual. It feels as though that we're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop in a sense. So what I want you to do is basically put that into perspective for me, contextualize that any way that you see fit, and then also kind of come on the other end of it, because you had the Niners going 13-4 this season. And right now, you're kind of looking okay. You know, you're 50% into your loss, Till. All right. But all is not lost. And I'd like you to talk to me and make a case for the 49ers playoff chances after you tell me what this ghost is. What is this dark cloud that everybody seems to be having their own version of what it is? Talk to me about it.
It certainly feels more devastating with each loss, considering the ramifications and considering the record we have after each one of the losses. I remember when we did our show after the 3-1 game after Jacksonville, our opening was, we're 3-1. Why is everybody panicking?
Yeah.
That's how it felt. It felt everybody was panicking, and we went 3-0 to start the season. And I think a lot of it stems from the narratives around the team in the offseason. There were a lot of people talking, or there was a lot made about the fact that the 49ers set historic mark in the most amount of money signed in the offseason off of our team. No team has ever lost as much money that was signed in the offseason that the 49ers sent out the door. We also, when we did our draft, it seemed like we're drafting pick after pick after pick, guys that are actually we need to fill a hole. And that hasn't been something the 49ers have had to depend on in quite a while, where we have a bunch of holes that have to be filled by first-year guys. And then you get into the offseason, and we're starting to have the injuries stack up. And a lot of, it's kind of one of those, here we go again. And so I think that there wasn't a lot of optimism going into the season. And so we win the first game, we win the second game, we're scrappy, we win another one. And all of a sudden people are kind of starting to feel a little like, hey, maybe we kind of misread this. And then we go out and play Jacksonville. And then when we lose to Tampa and lose Fred Warner, it's kind of like everybody's waiting for midnight to strike and for the carriage to turn back into a pumpkin, because we all feel like it's not real, that what we thought the team was leading into the season is what the team is, because nobody expected them to play as well as they have. Now, my optimism for the future is the same, or I'm sorry, for the same reason as my optimism before the season. The team does still have a lot of talent, and we have guys coming back as well. If you take that and you combine that with the fact that we have still a super soft schedule coming down the pipe, when you consider the fact that we already beat LA in Los Angeles, we have them coming up. The Giants look really good, but our defensive scheme is really, really effective against rookies. Robert Saleh is very, very good at knowing when to dial up blitzes and get rookies confused. So the Giants game and, I guess the Panthers game, that he's a second-year guy, not a rookie, but young quarterbacks in those games. We have the Falcons, young quarterback in that game. So we have a lot of games on this roster where we're either playing diminished rosters, or we're playing teams that we have a propensity to beat, or we're playing teams that have young quarterbacks. And I think all those things lend itself to us absolutely having a record that will be enough to get us into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, my biggest thing right now is just understanding just how the season lays out. We got a lot of help on the way. I think that the biggest case for the Niners is exactly what we're about to segue into, is they've got to start leaning more on the offense. We got to start outscoring people. It was a hard fought game. God love Mac Jones, but 19 points ain't enough. That's exactly what we average, about 19.6 points a game. So we did our average against the Bucs, and it wasn't enough.
Yep.
Also, we got to get more out of the run game. We'll touch on that later in the show. But just for context, what they have been doing in the run game, first down attempts. One thing that I love about it is that they had 8 attempts for 32 yards on first downs, and they averaged 4 yards a carry. That's the best yards per carry that they had throughout the entire game. Now, they struggled in other areas. On third down runs, they only averaged 1.6 yards a carry. And then, the running game by field position is something that kind of concerns me as well. We have 11 attempts from our own 1 to 20 yard line, which is cool. And we also have that same amount of attempts from our own 21 to the 50. Where things get weird is in the red zone. We don't necessarily like to run the ball in the red zone. Now, we did, as much as we don't run the ball in the red zone, we finally put in a red zone score with Christian McCaffrey getting on the ground. But just some other things that need to change is in order for the offense to be led is that we got to find somebody else to run the ball outside of Christian. And, running the ball twice in the fourth quarter ain't it. All right. Brian Robinson Jr. having more targets and receptions than he does carries, which was 0, ain't it. All right. So they got to be led by their offense. That's the biggest thing for me. And that is the biggest question coming into our next topic is, can the offense lead the 49ers? I understand that in years past, we have always looked at the Niners as complimentary football, right? And I got to be real with you. After watching them for just this regime for a while, I started really feeling like complimentary football was a dog whistle for the defense kind of get shit done. We kind of live off the defense.
Absolutely.
And I understand that the offense, they get all of the, the intellectual property, the praise, but really the tip of the spear, best of the best in the world, quote unquote, not to take anything from Fred, but it's been the defense. And right now, you saw exactly what this team looks like when the defense is not taken seriously. You look at last year. This year, even though we are not perfect, we have huge safety issues. All right. We got injury issues up and down the defensive line. We started the year with 11 defensive linemen at one point in the season. As late as last week, we only had 6 defensive linemen on the roster. We had to go out and work out a bevy of guys before our last game. Now we've lost Nick Bosa. We still didn't really have a pass rush with them. Now we're completely living off of Bryce Huff and Trevin Gibson, a journeyman who we called up from the practice squad. We've got 3 rookies rotating on the defensive line with a quasi-veteran in Jordan Elliott, who is, doing the best he can, but he's nothing to write home about.
He's a jag.
Right? Come on, man. And then on top of it, we lose Fred. And now we've got Tatum Bethune doing it. And so I guess my biggest question is that I understand that we could all look at Coach Saleh and say, all right, man, coach him up. This is what you're here for. This is your job. And I get all of that. But as far as the narrative is concerned, Kyle Shanahan has got his hands on this offense. And I would think that it's time for the offense to start pushing the needle and him to start pulling out all the stops, literally everything. Christian McCaffrey, like we said, Christian McCaffrey can't be the only person running the ball. Okay, I love what he's doing. He started peppering it in. It's the second week in a row. Let's keep our fingers crossed, but we're starting to see Christian and B-Rob on the field at the same time. Okay, I'd love to see where the hell Jordan James is. Is he alive? Is he here? Just something. All right, maybe get Jordan Watkins in there and infuse some of that speed that we've been hearing about into the offense. Now is not the time to play cards to the chest with making sure that you can't choke the process and man every position on the way through. You're going to have to loosen up the grip a little bit. All right. George Kittle's coming back. Where is BA? All right. That's supposed to be a thing. So right now, if we're talking about people that are basically coming back from the offense, we're supposed to get 3 guys back on the offense, right? Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, and Brock Purdy is reportedly pushing to come back. I think if we're looking for a replacement and we're looking for where the slack is going to get picked up, it's not on the defensive side. You can't look at Tatum Bethune and say, be Fred Warner.
No, it can't happen.
With a straight face. You can't.
And it's not the kind of position that you can replace with a platoon either. The way you can a pass rush.
Come on. So you can't. Hey, listen, man. You can't get water from a rock. You can't get blood from a turnip. If it ain't there, it ain't there. Yep. 0 + 0 = 0. Every time. All right. I understand what Coach Saleh can do, but if he don't got it, he doesn't have it. my biggest thing is that all the names and all the guys who are supposed to be thriving back, that is the replace. That's the slack that's supposed to get picked up. And I want to know if you think they can do it.
So I do think that the 49ers offense will improve. So I know we're going to touch on some of the rushing stuff in a little bit. But I think that George Kittle is a big factor in the run game. Mm-hmm. And so I think that there's a chance that George Kittle coming back could really bolster the run game. I do think that I have kind of a weird feeling with the BA thing. And the reason is because a lot of times what you'll see is a guy out there like running sprints and stuff, and people be like, he's out there running full speed. Why isn't he back? And it's because with an knee injury like that, with the ACL, especially when there's damage to the meniscus and MCL, stuff like that, it's the cutting that you have a problem with. It's the slowing down that causes a problem, not the straight line running. Well, we just saw a video last week of him literally going full speed, stutter step, taking off, and then breaking down, and like all the things that you're not really supposed to be able to do until you're fully back. And we saw that in a video. So what's the deal with BA not being back yet? That to me is starting to become sort of strange because if there hasn't been a setback, we're going into 12 months removed from the injury. Mm-hmm. And it's a 9 to 12 month injury. And it's not like they said, yeah, he should be back soon. They literally are saying that they like have no idea when it's weird to me. It's kind of fishy. And then when you consider that this team is going to start losing a lot of games if the offense doesn't start winning some of them. We did a segment earlier this year where you asked me which games we would have to win on offense. And that answer has changed completely because we have a whole lot more games now that we're going to have to win with our offense. Mm-hmm. And another thing that was discussed earlier in this offseason by pretty much everybody, and I think it really hit the nail on the head, is this year Kyle Shanahan is going to be forced to coach his way out of the situation that the 49ers put themselves in with the way that they did the roster construction, with the contracts that they signed, all the things that they had to do with gutting this team this offseason was because of the 3 years previous, all the draft capital they gave up for Trey Lance, all the draft capital they gave up for Christian McCaffrey. There's so many things that put them in a situation where this year Kyle Shanahan was going to have to sort of prove his salt as a coach. You're going to have to coach your way out of this one. You don't have the horses you had in the past. And it's making me wonder, can he coach his way out of this? It looks like he was able to up till this point. And then, to be fair, at a certain point, you can't coach your way out of it. You just can't. Are we there?
No, I don't think we're there. I think like what I talked about before. Listen, man, the biggest thing that I will always keep in mind it surprised me when I heard him say it, but Kyle did an interview and they asked him like, yo, like, what is the best skill that you picked up from your father? Like that made you the coach you are today. Like, tell me your best skill. And dude, like without hesitation, Kyle said, how not to get fired. How not to get fired. And that was such like a slack answer that it was like,
it was Freudian to me. It was a Freudian slip to me. It revealed his true nature.
It threw me when he said that. And I was like, wow, damn. All right. He just bold with it. Okay. But it also lets me know that when you have the how not to get fired attitude, that stifles ingenuity. That stifles, well, why not? Or let's see.
Yeah.
Or, hey, man, we didn't see it in practice, but game time is a whole different scenario, right? Or let's scheme it up. And when you think about years past, we just go down memory lane, I think that in order for that to even be like on the table for Kyle, you need other voices like a Mike McDaniel who gave us Debo from the backfield, right? And just other wrinkles if Kyle just can understand that, hey, man, you may want to start leaning into everything you have instead of realizing what's not ready and what can't go out. Like even from like a creative process, just like even in life, like, and I think that you and everybody listening can understand what I'm about to say. All of us have things that we want to be a certain way. We want the product, we want the end result, we want the goal to happen a certain way. When we all think about our goals and our achievements, we don't just think about literally crossing the finish line. We get supplementary. Like you understand the details of your win. You know exactly what you're wearing. You understand exactly what's going to happen in your win. And that is human nature, right? Because that's the dreamer in all of us. However, your ego is going to be tested on your journey to that goal. And you can't take everything with you that you think you can bring with you. You can't bring everything on your journey. And I got even something more for you. Things that you thought were essential are going to fall off along the way for you to reach that. Okay. And there comes a moment when you get way too far to turn back, but you can't see any end in sight. And you kind of just lose this ego of like, dude, I'm just doing this. I'm just showing up. I don't care how this looks. I thought I knew exactly how I wanted this to get done. But at the end of the day, I've been knocked around so much that all I care about is just winning. And I would love to see Kyle in that position where all he cares about is, dude, I don't care who we have right now. We're going to win. We're going to do our best to just win, right? And not when the wheels fall off and it's completely done. You still got a good quarterback. You got two good quarterbacks.
Yep.
All right. Like you still got Christian McCaffrey. How he has stayed healthy through all of this is a miracle. Okay. Especially
the one guy that didn't get hurt is Christian. It's wild.
Come on, man. Especially with his injury history.
His touches?
Come on,
the amount of touches?
Dude, the usage rate is through the roof. But my biggest point is that I feel like when you're truly sold out to your goal, you don't care how you receive it. A win is a win. And when you get to that phase in your journey, it's easy for you to understand how to like cut to just the meat of everything instead of like all of this window dressing and all of this stuff that you think you need. Like case in point, me and you, we're just starting our content journey, right? Like I've only done this like a couple of years before you, right? And what do we do when we prep shows? You're like, dude, how do you just know the topics? How do you just know how to cut straight to it when we're having
magician with topics?
Exactly. When we're having like a full-fledged conversation. Exactly. But a lot of that is I've had shitty topics. I've had topics that had 35 words in them, or I've had topics where I wanted to talk about something that I really cared about, but everybody in the chat is like, Coach, move on. Nobody cares about this, bro. Like, come on. We did not come on here for you to start talking about basket weaving today. Like, get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that when you really want to win, you really start understanding how you let your losses shape you. You let them shape you. And I want that to happen for Kyle because I believe that there's another level for this offense to go with everybody coming back. I totally agree. Truly believe that, bro.
Totally agree.
Even though we've got issues with the run game, we are getting back arguably the best offensive lineman that we have on the roster, George Kittle. Okay. We're getting back another tackle. Okay. And that is something that I don't think is being talked about. So guys, I do believe that, yes, it can happen. It's going to have to be all hands on deck, meaning that we're going to have to see more guys that we have not seen for the beginning quarter of the season, right? Jordan James, Jordan Watkins need to be out there. Brian Robinson Jr. needs to start running the ball more with Christian McCaffrey on the field. All right. We got to see, if Jauan Jennings needs to get phased out, man, can we talk about Jauan Jennings real quick? You give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts, man.
It's giving me flashbacks to Charvarius Ward. Somebody who's just mentally checked out. They're not playing bad, but they're just not playing. It's not the player that we saw in previous seasons. That he just feels checked out.
Mm-hmm.
The effort, it's not bad effort. It's just even like body language is different, and like he just feels totally checked out from this season. He's going through the motion. He's going through the motions. That's what it feels like to me.
I get the feeling that they're asking him to do what he did last year, but this year I think last year he did it because he thought that he was going to get rewarded. That, hey, I'm essentially the number one receiver. You got this rookie receiver that's just getting kind of like ingratiated into the offense. He's not necessarily doing much on the production side of the game by no fault of Ricky, but it is what it is. And I think he saw how other guys got paid and was like, look, man, Brandon Aiyuk did a whole goddamn podcast. Like, I should get my money. I do believe the only thing, and my initial reaction was a little bit rough. And it should have been because I felt that way at the time. But now that I've had time to think about it more, I still feel the same way. But I'm just more disappointed than I am upset. Why talk about your injuries after the game? What? I don't get that. With Mac Jones got hit 10 times, sacked 6 times. Like, what are we talking about? I don't understand that. You say that in the game where Fred Warner goes down for the year?
Right?
Who are you? Who are you? That's what, and people come at me, oh, coach, you were doing too much. He was hurt, this, that, and the third. A little bit of context would help go a long way. A little bit of self-awareness. We lose Fred Warner, and the first thing that you got to talk about after the game is not only Fred Warner, which he did, but I got 5 broken ribs. Like, what are you talking about? And on top of it, it's not as if this was like the game that broke the levees. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm tired of it. I've been silent, blah, blah, blah. We've been dealing with your bullshit all year.
Yeah.
You've been chirping. You missed all of camp. You've been on social media. Come on. And then on the 4th and 6, on the 33, we force feeding you the ball and getting picks? Dog. Help me out. I just thought that was a 360-degree bad look. Bad look. Not saying that he's not hurt, not saying that Jauan ain't a dog. Not all of that's true.
Clearly
he's hurt, he's a dog. He wants his money. You go get your money. If it ain't here, go get your money, dog. I ain't mad at you. But right now, you're turning into a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Now you're a malcontent.
That's the right.
Now you ain't gonna get your money.
Yeah.
Because you're kicking and screaming. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Ain't a lot of runway for third receivers, man. For number 3 receivers who think they divas. They don't make those.
5th option in the offense.
Come on, man. They don't make those. So, I mean, JJ, you got to axe to grind. I get it. But you can't listen, I am always going to be on Kyle Shanahan. That's just what it is. And I get it.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest. I don't even wish that on Kyle. What are you arguing with Kyle about on the sidelines? Like, you're not practicing, dog. Who are you, dog? You're not even here, man. Put on your helmet and go line up, sir.
One of the things that frustrates me with is it seems like the 49ers chose the wrong receiver to hold the line against. They should have held the line against BA. Because it feels a lot this offseason like they had to like kind of put their foot down at some point. They had given in over and over to too many contracts. And at a certain point, they had to kind of be like, no, we can't keep doing this. And I just feel like they chose the wrong receiver to do that with. And now we're getting a version of JJ that's detrimental to the team in some ways, instead of being the ultimate competitor, uplifter, and team guy that he absolutely would have been if we would have had the ability to give him a contract, because we didn't force ourselves into a corner where we had to put our foots down.
In hindsight, I understand why BA got paid, but on the low, we should have moved him, dude. We should have moved him. It is what it is.
Well, it's not like you didn't say that at the time. Like you said that at the time.
I wanted to move him.
It's not like you're looking back and saying like, oh, we should have. No, you said it at the time.
I didn't think he was worth the money, but hey, it is what it is. Let's get some super chats in. Too much sauce. Thoughts on McVay's sideline Kenko pants thread? It's given real soccer momish. I don't understand it. You know, you got to wear socks. We grew up in a household where you didn't wear socks. You was nasty. Like, put your socks on, man.
Right.
It's all sweaty in there. You're coaching, for Christ's sake. You're going to get a blister. Just put some socks on. I mean, this is my thing. If you're going to go with the hiked up sweatpants, throw on a nice tube sock. Ruffle it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Then throw on like an Air Max or something. Unlaced, right? Have the little relaxed look. It'll go over well. It'll be all connected, but nobody wants to see the capri. They look like tight capri pants. Remember capris?
I definitely do. All I know is Mike McDaniel would have worn socks. I'm just saying.
Come on, man. Wear some socks. I want to say Mike McDaniel has done it too.
He has, definitely.
I don't get it. It's almost kind of like I'm coaching, but I'm not. I'm about to go to the gym, but I'm not. But I don't get it. It's like they want to dress like I kind of don't care about this event, but I guess I'll do it. That's
like fashion comfortable.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I was on the way to go to Cabo, but I guess I'll coach this game. Like it's real. It's very weird. I get what you're saying. Too much sauce. Daza 0187. Lions made the playoffs last year with 15 of their front 7 on IR. No excuses. They should make the playoffs. Kyle is supposed to be an offensive genius, and our weapons will eventually all be healthy. I get it.
That's
Kyle's
the point.
not off the hook.
That's the point.
And that's going to be the next point. We'll get to that. Michael Allen is the offense is pretty predictable and lackluster, even with Aiyuk and Kittle coming back. Is anyone honestly scared of us anymore? I don't think so. What do you think about that?
Nobody's scared of us for sure. Not with that offensive line.
Yeah, man. I was on Twitter today. I watched the film, most of it, and I watched the sack that Luke Farrell gave up on Mac Jones, and Hassan Reddick came out on Colton McKivitz from like a 9 tech and blew his world up. Now, Colton McKivitz tripped, okay? But he tripped because he got thrown back so violently into the defender behind him that it looked like the trip was literally what did it all. No, okay? It was bad. It was bad. So yes, you know, it's getting to the point now where, you know, there's articles out here talking about Colton McKivitz was the only bright spot. He's hands down our second best offensive lineman. He's our best offensive lineman. From what? The best from what? Just keep it in the market. That's all I'm saying. He could be the best, all right? There could be a best turd in the turd heap, but it's still a turd. Let's move on. Daza, 0187. 49ers offense last year averaged 23 points with Brock, Kittle, and Debo. This year, they're averaging 21 points with Mack and Scrubs. Doesn't that say we don't need so many weapons and should invest in the offensive line? That's 100%. The common denominator is the same offensive line. That's it. Yes, we should invest in the offensive line. If we had a better offensive line, put it like this. With the offense that we have right now, I'm just going to ask you a question. With the offense that we have right now, what starter would you take out and replace with a middling offensive lineman? Decent offensive lineman. Who would you take out? Would you give up Jauan for a better left guard?
Yep.
Come on.
I wouldn't even hesitate. The thing is if you took our offense and you said, give me Christian, give me Kittle.
Hold on. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm going. Go ahead.
Give me Christian, give me Kittle, and give me any 3 wide receivers currently on our roster, and give me Detroit's O-line, or give me the offense that we have with our O-line. I'll take the Detroit O-line with any 3 wide receivers every time.
All right. So Jauan makes 9, and Kyle Juszczyk makes 2.5 now. That's 11. We could spring for a center without Kyle Juszczyk and Jauan Jennings. I'd gladly take Jake Brindle's 5 and get
a $20 million center. Go get a $17 million center.
And go get a $17 million center in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. And do you know how much better the offensive line would be without just one of those guys?
I wish like hell the 49ers could do what you've been pounding the table for and go get the center from the Raiders.
I want him, bro.
It would be the best trade that we've made since Emmanuel Sanders. People forget how important that trade was.
I think that ship is sailed. When I was talking about it at the time, it was definitely like a blip that was there. But hey, man, offensive line goes a long way. You don't got to go out and go get all these guys when you can block it, right? Flat out.
You know the part that bothers me the most about it is that Kyle Shanahan sold us a bill of goods. Kyle Shanahan told us in year 1 when we signed Weston Richburg to the highest center contract in the NFL, why did you pay so much money for a guy who's not totally proven yet? He's only coming off his rookie deal. He hasn't even, yada, yada. He said, because the center is the heartbeat of this offensive line. It's the most important position in the offense other than the quarterback.
Yeah, I remember that.
What have we done since? Nothing but go backwards.
But you want to keep it tall? It really don't even take all that. We had old Alex Mack.
Getting it done.
And he was getting it done.
Not great. Not awesome.
Not awesome, but he was getting it done. He was so much better.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think him retiring early shocked everybody. Yeah. I don't think they were prepared for that. All right, let's get into another one. The Unbeaten with Keith and Bernie says, maybe JJ got a big head because he almost won the Super Bowl MVP. It's back-to-back productive years. That's not crazy.
I don't know. It's not because of the Super Bowl MVP. It may back-to-back productive years, maybe, but I don't think he got a big head. I think he thought he was one thing. I thought he thinks he's a $20 million a year wide receiver, which is not having a big head. Like that's a mid-level, like number 2 type wide receiver contract. I don't think that's him having a big head. I just think the 49ers told him you're a $12 million quarterback, and that pissed him off. Or sorry, $12 million wide receiver, and that pissed him off.
Okay. All right. Hold on. This the Unbeaten with Keith and Bernie should have been done to BA with what Dallas did with Micah. I mean,
set a number. If he doesn't match it, move him.
I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Dallas does not look so crazy right now, do they?
It's tough because what if they had Micah? How much better would this team be? How good would Dallas be with a pass rush?
They didn't really have one when he was there, to be real with you. And the boy can't stop the run. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
the Unbeaten with Keith and Bernie says, what offensive line? Exactly. I feel like Debo. What bike? Mike Allen as coach should be. We should be sellers. Should we be sellers at the deadline? I think if we keep Jennings around longer, his demeanor and pouty attitude will wear thin on teammates. All right. So look, this is tinfoil hat time. Tell me what you think about this. This is completely shooting in the dark. I do not know what I'm talking about when it comes to these like speculations, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Irresponsible speculation. It's my
Irresponsible
favorite thing
speculation
to do.
incoming. Do you think that Jauan or BA, I know that BA is hurt, but do you think that Jauan or BA have been added to any of these trade conversations with
100%.
Do you think that any of them may know this, and that's why you're getting a little bit of this attitude from them? Like, listen, we did the topic for BA yesterday on him scrubbing all of his social media stuff. I heard that wasn't even corroborated, really.
He didn't do anything. He hasn't had it on there for months.
Yeah, and I said that. I was like, I don't know if this
and he has a link to the 49ers on his thing that's been there the whole time as well.
Right. Again, I don't know how true this is. That's why you got to slow down when you get into this realm of 49ers land. So, okay, but why isn't he playing?
I'm telling you, man, there's something weird about it.
I
can't put my finger. I can't put my finger on it. It's weird. Something is wrong there. It's been 12 months. You know, like I'm not a doctor or anything, but like if there hasn't been a setback and they haven't said there's one, the thing that's weird about it to me is not that he isn't back, it's that they haven't given a timeline for him to be back. We should have gotten a timeline a month ago. If he's going to be back in 6 weeks, we should have gotten we plan to open his window in the next couple of weeks. Something like some sort of an idea if he's on the way back. Mm-hmm. And they literally have given us the opposite. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
John Lynch is very careful about narratives, and this is one that it stinks, man.
The biggest thing is that I'm keeping all of this under the same topic is, you know, I think the next question is, are we ever going to see Brandon Aiyuk in the offense this season? Are we going to see him play?
We might not. We might not ever see him take another snap for the 49ers.
That's ill. Relax.
And not if he's part of these trade. I would not be shocked if the 49ers are trying to move him.
The only reason why I think that's a little hard to believe is he's hurt. So officially hurt. That's what I mean. Like he could be healthy right now, but on paper, he's still hurt. They got to see him play. You're not just going to trade Brandon Aiyuk sight unseen. That's not happening.
Depends on what you're willing to take for him. I guarantee you there's a team out there that would be willing to say, as long as my doctors take a look at him, as long as he's willing to work out and the workout goes fine, we'll give you a fifth for him. If you're willing to take that to get his numbers off your books.
If we're taking a fifth, you're taking the contract.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. So like it depends on what we're willing to take for him. That's what it really boils down to.
I don't know, man. There's been a little bit of chirping about Jauan Jennings and possibly BA going to the Giants. The Giants are desperate to get a receiver now that Malik Neighbors is down to help out Jackson Dart. How viable do you think that is?
I absolutely think moving one of those two in a package to get Thibodeau is 100% on the table.
Okay, let's get into our next super chat. Daza0187 says Drew Dahlman got 3 years, $42 million contract and currently ranked 5th center in the NFL. Farrell and Juice cost $12 million a year. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I don't get it. And Drew Dahlman was there.
I take Drew Dahlman. You give me Drew Dahlman instead of Jake Farrell, Jauan Jennings, Luke Farrell, Jauan Jennings, and Kyle Juszczyk. You get rid of those three and you give me Drew Dahlman. Our team is significantly better, and that would actually save money.
Bro, I've been watching the film, man. Kyle Juszczyk, man. He's not a force in the run game anymore, bro. It's just
he's washed.
It's all over the place, man. He's Tang, for real Tang. Let's get into our next topic, bro. So let's get there. Let's go. Mac Jones. All right. We got the 49ers. Mac Jones is averaging 42 pass attempts a game. This last game was his third start in a row. Correct me if I'm wrong, Damon.
Yes. Sorry, no. 4, 5, and 6. That's correct.
Right. This last game was his third start in a row, and I got to hear it from you. We just saw Mac Jones play against a heralded defense. The biggest thing that we got right now is the attempts. Like I said, Mac Jones is averaging 42 attempts per game in the 3 games that he started. This last slate, he was 27 for 39 for 347 yards for 8.9 yards per attempt. 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, a long of 56, sacked 6 times, hit 10 times with a quarterback rating of 75.5. Talk to me. First off, before we even start bringing up he who shall not be named, all right, the Erdy of the Ixnage Erdies, all right, did Mac do enough to win this game? How do you feel about his performance?
My initial inclination is yes, but we only scored 19 points, and that's not going to be enough to win in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, no, he didn't do enough to win the game. But I also think that there are other factors in why the offense didn't score that are probably bigger issues than Brock, such as the offensive line and the wide receivers didn't play great in this game either.
Oh, we're going to talk about it.
And so I think Mac played clearly. He didn't play well enough to win because we lost, but I don't think he was the biggest problem.
Okay. Critique him. What did you like? What did you not like about the game? And also, let's get a little messy, Jesse.
No, Damon, not Jesse.
Sorry. I'm sorry. All right. My bad. So, look, where do you see areas of the game where Brock would have came in and did a little bit better? And what was a wash to you?
So the only thing that I can think of, if I'm being intellectually honest, where Brock could give this offense a lift is his ability to make plays outside of the pocket. And it's not just because he like maybe moves the chains in a situation where Mac isn't able to move the chains by throwing the ball. I think that there's some juice to the players around him sometimes when he makes some of those plays. When he makes a dynamic run, gets a first down, that lifts the guys around him as far as getting them going, getting their confidence going. That element I feel like is a little bit lost in the offense right now. It's a little bit more it doesn't feel like the offense has any juice. And I don't know that Mac is really even though he's playing the position really well, he's making some throws that I love the way he's throwing the ball, especially the way he's able to deliver a good ball from a dirty pocket. I can't say that enough. But I just feel like the offense has no juice, and Brock just brings some juice. Even if I don't know that I have a good quantitative way to put it, but that's just kind of how it feels.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. The biggest thing for me right now is Mac Jones's pocket presence. I believe the biggest thing for me is how he delivers the ball. He's fearless. One thing that I love about Mac Jones is he doesn't wait. He has anticipation, the same anticipation with Brock. He just drives the ball a little bit better down the field. He also sees the field incredibly well. His timing and his rhythm is something that I've grown quite fond of. I think Mac Jones he put together another decent game. I can't call a 2-pick game a good game. You just can't. Even though we all know that the first pick was miscommunication between Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne. Tell me about the second interception, the 4th and 6 from the 33, the corner to Jauan. Now I saw Jake Tunges at the sticks, literally at the sticks, and I gotta believe that he was ignored. Do you believe that ball was force-fed to Jauan?
I do.
Or do you, I think so too.
Maybe
man.
not specifically like to Jauan, but I think that ball was definitely – I think that was one of those where it's kind of he maybe predetermined before the snap. And so he just kind of snapped the ball and just waited till he had an opportunity to throw it to him and then was like, I think I can get it and then tried to stick it in there. Yeah, that felt to me like a predetermined throw.
Yeah. So before we even close this one out, do you think Mac Jones gets to start against Atlanta, or you think Brock goes?
I think Brock is pushing to come back behind the scenes. I think the coaching staff maybe is like, hey, we don't have to play him. It's not one of those situations where he plays as soon as he's healthy enough. Mm-hmm. We can wait till he's actually healthy. And Brock's sitting over here like, no, if I can go, I'm going. And has honestly probably earned the right to make that call.
Yeah. So look, there's a couple of things that I want to get into. Lastly, is the enemy from within. Now, the run game has been talked about, man. I mean, the 49ers have one run game, have one rushing touchdown on the season. And I believe that obviously there is 3 elements to the run game that have been talked about a lot. And it has been the coaching, the play calling, right, in Kyle Shanahan. It's been the running backs, whether it be Brian Robinson Jr., the lack of using running backs with Garindo or Jordan James. And it's been the offensive line, right? Can the offensive line block? Can we get this done? Now, when we had a really good run game back in 2019, 2023, our run game was pretty epic. One thing that I feel like we're forgetting is that the Niners are a hat on a hat football team, 11 on 11. All right, which means that we need blocking from everybody on the offense, not just the offensive line. And I had a sneaking suspicion, and I went and did a little bit of research. So the 49ers wide receiver blocking stats for the 2025 season, out of the most run blocking snaps, Ricky Pearsall leads all receivers with 73 run blocking snaps. Out of those 73, he has 18 failed blocking attempts, and his failure rate is 24.66%. After that is Kendrick Bourne at 73 blocking snaps with 16 failed blocks and a failure rate of 22.54%. All right. Now, we're looking at yards on average per block.
Before you get into that, do you have rankings for where those rank in the NFL?
I'm going to get to that.
My apologies. I'm so sorry. My bad.
Yeah. So when we're talking about average yards on block for Ricky Pearsall and Kendrick Bourne, just those two, they've played the most. Jauan Jennings comes in third with 68 snaps, but let's just keep it to Ricky Pearsall and Kendrick Bourne. The average yards on blocking attempt is Ricky Pearsall averages 3.26 yards per yards per blocking attempt, and Kendrick Bourne averages 2.75 yards per blocking attempt. Those are the yards that get gained when they are blocking or running downs. All right. Now, the run blocking failure rate of the entire team is 24.17%. That ranks 27th in the NFL. All right. The league average is 19.6. Average yards on wide receiver blocks for our team as a collective, that's Kendrick Bourne, Jauan Jennings, Demarcus Robinson, Ricky Pearsall, all right, Sky Moore, all of the guys. The average yards on wide receivers blocks for our team is 3.4 yards per carry, okay? The league average is 4.16 yards per carry. Us being at 3.4 yards per carry for the average yards of wide receiver blocks ranks us 32nd in the NFL. That's last. Terrible. Dead last. All right. The best blocker on our team has the lowest failure rate with 17.95%, which is Demarcus Robinson. All right. The least effective blocker is the most used blocker on our team, which is Ricky Pearsall at 73 run blocking snaps. So the devil is in the details. If you really look at stats with other positions where nobody's going to take the time to go look at blocking stats with receivers. All right.
Except the coach.
Nobody's going to do that. But the truth is that that's where you'll find that the offensive line isn't the worst blocking unit on our team. It's the receivers. They are very bad. And what drew me to this was watching this week's film. And Kendrick Bourne, we could talk about the offensive line all day because blocking is what they do. I get it. But Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, and Jauan Jennings, they all struggled. All right. Blocking, they are really bad at blocking. And I'm telling you, it's something that has to get better if we're going to be able to shore up the run game, because you can't have our front five. It's a little bit of a test just to get them to do it the right way. So when they quasi get it right, the last thing you need is Kendrick Bourne whiffing on blocks, right? Demarcus Robinson whiffing on a corner who can be the force defender and push everything on the inside. Because a lot of that stuff, that's how that's happening. You're not seeing the receivers block. And the only reason why this is such a big point is that Kyle raised this issue, not me, right? Kyle was the one who put forth the edict, no block, no rock. Brandon Aiyuk was in the doghouse specifically for this reason, because they didn't like the way he was practicing and he was not blocking. All right. So I got to tell you, it's not just the O-line, and it's something that they're going to have to clear up. What do you think about it, man?
So I think there's two things that really stand out. I think first and foremost, Kyle Shanahan agrees with you on this point, because he literally just said in an interview last week that the reason the 49ers don't have explosive runs is because of the downfield blocking, which is the wide receivers. Yeah. He literally told everybody this a week ago, and you're giving us a perfect layout for exactly what he was talking about. Another thing that I think that this really hits the point on is the reason that we have so many, the reason our yardage is low is because in the NFL, 80% of your runs are less than 5 yards. The guys that have 6 yards a carry, it's not because they're actually getting 6 yards on every carry. They're getting 4.5 or 5 yards, and they're breaking 1 or 2 per game. And that's why they're averaging 6 yards a carry. We have not broken any explosive runs. I still think we don't have a 20-yard run this year, right? I don't think we broke any 20-yarders this last game. Not that I remember. So the difference, so if it's blocked up to get 8 yards by the offensive line, but a wide receiver doesn't make his block in the slot, and a safety comes down and hits him at the 2-yard mark, you just turn an 8-yard run into a 3-yard run or a 2-yard run. Mm-hmm. And that's critical to the overall success of our offense. Another factor to this is a total lack of explosive plays in this offense. I don't know what the exact number is. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe we're near the bottom of the league, if not the bottom of the league, in explosive plays. And defenses, when you don't have explosive plays in the run game or in the pass game, you are not going to be able to force a defense to play off. You're not going to be able to force a defense to give you some space to operate. And this offense requires some space to operate. That's why it's so efficient between the 20s, and it's so bad when you get down into the pressed areas in the red zone.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I did want to give you a little bit of pushback, because I remember seeing this stat before. We actually have more explosive plays than the Bucks. I think that it was close though. Like we had like 19 and the Bucks had 16. Like
19 explosive plays?
Yeah, bro.
What do they call it considering an explosive play?
Dude, we had like 4 of them alone against the Bucks. Kendrick Bourne caught that 56-yard pass, then he caught that 41-yard pass. Game. And then
I mean in the run game. Yeah. But overall, I don't think that we have a lot of explosive plays this year.
Right.
Well, I guess the passing game we have had a few. So maybe it's not quite as bad overall in the passing game. But in the running game, there's no explosiveness whatsoever. And we're not softening up defenses. We're not forcing them to give us space to operate.
Okay, so I got you right now. Literal explosive plays, we're tied for 14th in the NFL with 47. Explosive play percentage, we're tied for 27th in the NFL at 11.69%. Out of 402 total offensive plays. We only have Out of those 47, we have 38 explosive pass plays with 15.7% of the pass attempts, and out of the explosive rush plays, we only have 9. So 5.5% of our rush attempts have been explosive plays. Explosive plays in the run game, average run plays that are over 10 plus yards. Yeah.
I don't think we have any over 20.
I don't think so either. Top 5 are the Ravens, Packers, Bills, Rams, and Colts.
That checks.
Yeah. So that's where it works. Hey, talk to me, man. What do you got for the rest of the week?
So in the Niners by the narrative, Niners by the numbers, on my podcast, the Niner Narrative, tomorrow, I'm going to be going over some of the cap ramifications of some of the trade targets that have been discussed over the last week or so, and what some of the other options are. And I'm also putting together sort of a cap university where I'm going to go through all the different machinations as the cap and stuff like that, and specifically talk about how mid-year cap, how it rolls over to the next season and stuff like that, just to kind of help bring everybody up to speed on what the cap situation is and what it looks like moving forward and into the next offseason. That's awesome. Tomorrow, I got a Patreon show with the 4-man front, me, Jesse, Grant, and Ryan. And then I also got the Faithful Review coming up with me and Tom Jensen, man. So, hey, we're going to get things going. Hey, this is the coach signing off. Stay low and keep your feet moving. I'll holler at you guys. Peace.